Today, I want to talk to you about jumping timelines, how we can change our reality like that. And because there was an old paradigm, and it used to be that it took a long time to create change. It was much, the frequency that we were on, the vibration on Earth was thicker. It was thicker. A good example of this was in the Bible. It talks about people sitting on a mountain for 40 days to experience, meditating constantly every day to experience inner peace. That is something we get like that now, because consciousness has raised so quickly, because we're in a completely different frequency than we were then. And I've experienced this. I've been able to see and feel and experience different dimensions, different worlds, different realms since I was young. I was born in that way. And when I was young, it was like how I would explain the energy, the frequency, and anyone who is a light being who was aware of it for the last 30, 40 years knows exactly what I'm talking about. It was like treacle. It was like moving through thick tar compared to what we're in now. And you can see it just in technology. You can see the growth and how fast information has gone. And if you think about light, being a light worker, all light is information. That's all it is. Light carries information. It carries a frequency. So if you imagine that we are light beings, so we've got this incredible information in us, and as more of us are starting to wake up, starting to evolve, starting to raise our consciousness through meditation, now meditation, crystals, all of this is normal, right? It's something that everyone has heard of. Where 20 years ago, 30 years ago, incense was weird. Meditation was something you couldn't even mention in a conversation without people thinking you were some kind of weirdo. All of this way, yoga was weird. We almost can't believe it now. And for people who are, younger generation, it's like saying to them, remember, we used to have to sit and our phone was attached to the wall with a wire and we couldn't leave. We had to sit talking on the phone. And they're like, what? My daughter, she's like, what? You couldn't move with your phone? And so this is the same way. If you imagine that quantum leap in technology, we've had a quantum leap in frequency, the ability to manifest, the ability to change, the ability to shift our reality. And I want to talk to you about jumping timelines, because this is something we can do. And the best and the most effective way of doing that is in the quantum field. Because in the quantum field, so the quantum field is the unseen force that connects all of us. Okay, it connects all of us, and within it is, I talk about this before. If you've ever done any quantum physics, if you know anything about that, we are made up of molecules. We're made up of atoms, and in the atom that we're made up of, in the molecule that we're made up of, it is 99% nothing. It's 99% nothing. We are more nothing than we are something. And in that nothingness that we're in, it's just the molecules are moving slower. The matter that we're in, so the molecules move slower, which creates a density, which is why we can see, why we can feel, because it creates matter. That's where we're in. Though there is this field that connects all of us, the field of nothingness, the field of the quantum field. And within that field, there are infinite possibilities and potentials. And there is many, many, many versions of you inside that quantum field, within the quantum field, that have achieved and can achieve and are achieving anything that you set your mind to. In the quantum field, anything is possible. Okay, because there are no limits there. It's an infinite field. It goes on forever. There is no end to it. They haven't found an end to the quantum field. It is consciousness, and it is pure expansion all the time. That is why we are constantly growing. We are constantly evolving. And within this field is the ability to jump timelines. When I say jump timelines, it's like go from if you imagine you're going this way, so you're going in a direction, okay? And if you change by 1 degree, just 1 degree, you end up in a completely different place, destination. And we can see this when you're driving. If you're driving along a road and you just turn the wheel, you will end up in a completely different destination, even if that's a tiny amount. So this timeline jumping, as it's called, I know there's loads of buzzwords about this kind of quantum leaping and everything, is because you're using the quantum field and the reality that we're in. You're using a new reality to jump timelines to give yourself a different destination. And you can do this super quickly. Best way is through meditation. The reason why it's so powerful in meditation is because So you have your waking state brainwave. Our brain has different brainwaves, different states to be in. So we have the beta, which is our awake state. It's a frequency. It's literally, they can measure it. It's a frequency. Then we have alpha, which is the more relaxed state. Then we have theta, which is the hypnotic state, which is the deeper state. It's where you go into your unconscious, which you go into when you're sleeping. Then we have delta, which is deep sleep. Okay. And what we can do through meditation is you can start to lower your frequency. You can start to calm your body down. You can slow these brain waves down so that you go into alpha, you go into theta, you get into this unconscious hypnotic state. And in that hypnotic state is where you can start to rewrite your deeper programs. You can rewrite what has been written on a conscious level. You can go in there and change it very quickly and in an extremely profound way. So you do this. So you start with a meditation. I've got lots of meditations that are on here. You can look for them in my channel. There's also, any form of meditation that you choose to do that allows you to drop into a deeper state of relaxation and really access the quantum field is powerful in this way, because then when you're there, you can just literally connect with the part of yourself the version of you in the quantum field that already is doing what you want. So you imagine what you look like. How would it feel to experience that? You imagine how you walk. What are you doing differently? You just imagine yourself in that relaxed state. You start to see that version of yourself, and then you start to experience it. You imagine stepping into it, okay? And when you do this from this place, and when you allow yourself to deeply do this and do it regularly, do it every day, go into that every day, the frequency that you give off, it's already been done. It is universal law that has to show up in your life. If you do that from the place of it's already done. So every day you go into that state, you go into that quantum field, you drop your brain waves, you go into that state of relaxing and relaxation and that deeper way of being able to go underneath your unconscious. And then in that moment, you then connect to the version of you in the quantum field that already has that. If there's any questions about this, drop comments below. I'm really happy to help and support you with this. So then you connect to that and you feel what it feels like. Right? This is what they talk about manifestation. Feel the feeling already. So you have that heightened state. Maybe it's gratitude. Maybe it's joy. Maybe it's wonder. Maybe it's like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. And the reason why this is so powerful is you can heal yourself. You can create anything that you want. You can change your life. I know this from a personal experience. I have healed myself from Hashimoto's, which is a autoimmune disease, through connecting to the version of me that is already healthy every single day in the quantum field. And then it's amazing. As I came off my medication, I kept checking my bloods. I kept just being okay. My bloods were fine. My bloods were stable. Because every single day, I connected to that version of myself that was already healthy. How does it feel like? How would I feel? And I was like, I'd be amazed. I'd think it was a miracle. And I got into that frequency state every single day, which you can do. And that's how you jump a timeline. I took myself from this reality and I created a new reality for myself. And I decided to focus more on that than where I was currently. And that's the key. Is to focus more, rather than focusing on your current reality, focus on the reality that exists already, where you have jumped timelines, where you are a different person, where you show up in a different way. And this is universal law. It has to come into effect in this three-dimensional world because we're a frequency being. When you're letting out a certain frequency, it's just basic physics. It's not woo-woo. It's not anything that is... This is science. This is physics and science. They've proved this. Like attracts like. Whatever you're putting out, you will receive. And when we get very conscious about choosing the new timeline, you can create a different reality like that, especially because of what's just happened with the planetary alignments, the level that our frequency, how it is raised now. It happens very, very fast. You get to be, do, and have anything you want in this world. And I'm super excited for you to step into this journey and start to create the amazing life for yourself that you deserve. You deserve happiness. You deserve the very best that life has to offer. And I'm here to help you every step of the way. So remember to subscribe. Remember to like and comment. It really makes a massive difference when you subscribe. It helps me grow. It helps me to get to more people. It helps me help more people. And I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.